been so exciting, and just couldn't wait to add my little piece in. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We do have 25 minutes, so I'll get going. I won't keep you too long. Honestly, I love real estate. I think real estate is one of the fields that I have found where you can actually, that's just where to make money. Literally, I think my mom told me a secret that jewelry is one way to make money when as I was growing up. But as I obviously been through school and sort of lived life a little in my 40s, I'm realizing that real estate is actually a true asset to how you can develop wealth, build generational wealth for you, your family, and for just everybody can invest in real estate. And literally, people ask me all the time, how hard is it to invest in the real estate market in the US? It used to be maybe hard. It's not that hard. I found out that it's quite actually simple to invest in the real estate market in the US. A lot of people think that because you either don't have a citizenship or you don't have to tell you exactly how to do so without having ties, without having a social security number, without having a tax identification number, all you need is some good credibility, a bank account in Nigeria, obviously things that are verifiable by the government there, and you can actually become an investor in the US. I work for Keller Williams. I've been a realtor in the US now for almost 3 years. And literally one of the best careers that I have literally ever gone into. It's so exciting. No transaction is the same. Whether it's land, whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, whether it's anything real estate is just exciting, and it just gingers me quite a bit. And I think the first question people always ask is real estate a good investment in the US? And I will say that real estate is a very good investment in the US because it helps with cash flow. So obviously, like now we're all growing up, we're in our 40s, we're all sending our kids to colleges. This is the time to invest if you still have little ones, because you can tap in a bit early and have money waiting for them later, and also a place for them to stay later when they go to the US. And it didn't really, it's funny how everything kind of came together, even thinking about that, and how you're just sort of planning for the future, pretty much. And real estate also helps with tax breaks. Equity is one of the biggest things. Like I know anybody that if you are into property always appreciate unless you're committing waste and you're not taking care of it. Even with that, property around you will always increase in value. If you buy it at $5, at least you know you can sell it for $5. You can't sell it for $4 unless things around you are just really, really bad. So I always say real estate is something that you can definitely bank your money on. If you don't get more, you at least get what you put in, which I think is almost a great way to save and put assets away. I would say that in terms of investing in real estate, is it good to invest in real estate in the States? It enhances your portfolio. I don't know, like I'm all about building portfolios right now for my son and hopefully my immediate family, being able to leave something behind for them, and just understanding that I can do that in a way where I can start at my level and work my way up. So I would say real estate is a very good investment in the US. How do you invest in how do you invest in real estate in the US? There are several things that you can do. You can do a real estate investment trust. You're able to do real estate investment on different platforms online. Obviously, be careful, make sure that you're researching the investment platforms that you are looking at. I would also say that thinking about investing in rental properties, so properties that you buy, you can, or people that are renting their properties, you can in turn get that from them, sublet it from them, and also rent that property out to make some money. You can, consider flipping, which is what a lot of people are into right now, flipping property. So going in and buying a property at a cheaper price and then flipping it and, making more money out of there, putting about 10, 20, 30K in, depending on the volume or the amount of work the home needs, putting that in there and then increasing your equity that way. My favorite right now is there are a lot of lands available in America, like 15,000, 10,000, and I'm talking about in nice locations because yes, you might not be able to buy in one of the most expensive locations, but you have to watch a trend with real estate. The same way that maybe that area started out hot. If you look back then, somebody bought at a cheaper price. I look for where the location is heading. And right now, my biggest thing is buying lands. Like there are lands for 10,000, there are lands for 5,000. I call it buy now and build later. I'm also in school for construction management. So my goal is to try to buy as many of the cheaper lands that I can, and I'll focus on building later, something affordable for either students, elders, and things like that. So land right now is one of my favorite things. And also possibly if you have a home already in the US, renting out one of your homes. I know right now there's a lot of things with a lot of my friends are renting out rooms. They have this thing called crash pad, I believe, where like the pilots and nurses and people with those kind of that in those kind of professions like that fly into different states are just looking for a room for the night. Some of them don't want to stay in hotels. I mean, I know it's not as safe as it sounds, but they do have a lot of checks and balances where they check their background and things like that, and you can rent a room out. So that's also an option. So those are just different things you can invest in the US, commercial, residential, things like that. Also, what is the most common type of investment in the real estate? It will be residential. Residential is really hot. Residential is hot because somebody always needs a home. Someone always needs a home. It is one of the most widely known and understood type of real estate investment that a lot of people know about, even just taking it back to Nigeria. We all have homes here. The difference with a lot of our homes are, yes, some of us are renting, but a lot of people also own their homes outright, which can be very costly, which is why I love America, because America does give us the opportunity to buy homes and pay for it over 30 years. So even you that's not an American citizen, that has no tie to America, now they have mortgages for you. They have programs for you that you can come in and tap in, and you don't have to break your bank or anything like that. You can come and invest at your level, at the amount, if you find something, working with the right agent, starting off of there. And I'll tell you how to do that towards the end. Again, residential real estate is one of the most lucrative investments that people are investing in. A lot of people now are also contacting me about commercial properties. So like plazas, things like that, where you can rent out. Those have more of long-term residential income. So you can rent those out, the ones with the shops in it. There's just different things, different type of investments when it comes to real estate. And I think based on what each client needs, we can sit down, have a consultation, structure out a plan for you. My end goal is just to teach you how to own a portfolio. How can we build a portfolio? How can you start with one? How can you go to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, literally without breaking bank, just really starting from that one. So that is what I believe God has called me to do, is to show people how to invest, just starting with that one property, and just build your portfolio from there, and let's build generational wealth and income. Also, people ask, why invest in the US real estate market is another question that I get a lot. The big goal of real estate investing is to increase your cash, otherwise known as a building capital. When you sell a property that has risen in value, you will boost your capital. So the key, of course, is to invest in the right property that will bring you value. So I'll give you an example, right? I have a friend that just moved from Nigeria. I don't know if she's on here or not. Funny enough, little issue of one or two things with that property, right? When we bought the property, her goal was she moved back to the States. Her goal was to literally get the property to re-rent it out so that she could use it as Airbnb. When we bought the property, maybe like literally a month later, less than a month, they have HOA. HOA is the governing body that controls that particular estate where she bought, which obviously you like HOA because they kind of keep things, people, your neighbors just can't have grass high and things like that. Everything is controlled by the association, which is pretty much a lot of the people that live there join the association. Long story short, she can no longer rent this property. True story. We bought this property in December 23rd, right? Now, my friend called me the other day, and we know she had a renter in there. They came back and said we couldn't rent, but we went to HOA and said, please, let's rent. The renter ended up being a nuisance. God forgive me. She was just a nuisance. She was not a good neighbor. She was creating waste and leaving dogs around and just doing things she should not have been doing. Let's be clear. And the HOA wanted her out, which they have every right to, because you're not keeping up the place and your neighbors are there. It's disrespectful. But at the end of the day, my client wants to sell. We made 35,000. Let's just say that 35 to 40K in 6 months. So do you see how just investing in this property, even with all the things that happened, the fact that she can make 35,000, sell this property and walk away in 6 months, in a year she can make 70K. So to me, real estate is just amazing. So even with everything that happened, we're going to sell. Just see the trend of the amount of money that she can make in a year. That's $70,000 that you can make in a year, just paying your mortgage, putting your renter in there, making sure that that covers itself and things of that nature. So real estate is very interesting for that purpose. So just to give you an idea. Also, people ask me all the time, how does the real estate market work in the U.S.? The U.S., it works pretty much like supply and demand. Pretty much when supply is high, the demand is low. And prices will fall. As sellers have to compete for buyers, they have to compete for buyers. But when supply falls, demand rises and prices goes up. And now buyers have to compete for housing, which is, if you follow the real estate market, it was really interesting what happened in the last 2 years in America. Let's just say we bought a new home in the pandemic, and literally a lot of people gained a lot of money in this 2 years. A lot of things are correcting itself now because, yes, a lot of things were overvalued. A lot of people were overbidding on the houses, 50,000, 100,000, overbidding. But at the end of the day, these people have equity in their homes. Even us just buying a year ago, we've gained almost over 100,000 in equity. So for me, like, real estate is just the way to go, and it's available to you as a Nigerian trying to invest in the American market. Just reach out to me, and I literally love walking people through how to build generational wealth, and literally starting with real estate. So that's my terrain. That's what I love to do. And it's asking, the biggest question I think out of this masterclass is, can I, as a foreign investor, invest in the U.S. market? And yes, anyone can buy property in the U.S., regardless of whether you have citizenship or not. Let me be here to repeat and say that to you again. Anyone can buy a property in the U.S., regardless of whether they have citizenship or not. You can even apply for a mortgage in America as a non-citizen if you require it. However, property owners will still face more complex tax laws as a non-citizen. But that's why you have myself as an expert. I have lenders that I work with, tax advisors that I work with, that would sit you down, have a consultation, and tell you how you can get it done. And yes, it makes sense to probably have an account in America. So if you have an account there, it just gives you more credibility, but you don't have to. You can move your funds here legally from your account here, as long as it's coming from a credible bank, to America, directly to the closing attorney, and you can buy a property. There are no restrictions on who can invest in the U.S. real estate market. Any person, whether they are residents or not, can purchase a property in the U.S. So now that myth is gone. That's been cleared up. I don't think you should ever ask that again. Anybody can buy property in the U.S. Anybody can buy. And I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Again, I'll answer this again, because once I answer that question, people will still seem to ask the next question. Do you need to be a citizen to buy real estate in the U.S.? No, you do not need to be a citizen. I repeat again. Anyone may own property in the U.S. regardless of their citizenship. It's important to note that if you buy property in the U.S., you still need to abide by the laws. You still need to, if you're not a citizen, they only tell you to stay 6 months, stay your 6 months and go. But your property can still run, it can function. We have property managers. If it's Airbnb that you want, if it's land that you want, if it's builder that you want, we sit down, we structure things properly, and we walk you through everything. And the three most important factors in real estate in America is location, location, location. I believe the last young lady said it that gave the presentation. Location matters. We sit down, we structure things, see where you want to be, see what state you want to buy in. I'm licensed in a few states. I also have partnerships in pretty much all the states. Keller Williams is everywhere. So I can run you and help you buy property in any state in the US. Next, to finalize things up, steps to process a loan for a non-citizen ties without social security or tax ID or US income. You don't have to have a US income. Your income can be in Nigeria as long as it qualifies, it tallies, everything add up, checks and balances. You can buy a property in the US and use your income here. We'll just need your international passport, your full address overseas here in Nigeria, telephone numbers in Nigeria, employment verification, letter of employment, foreign business name and address if you work for a foreign company or locally, whichever one you work for. We need 60 days of bank statement, obviously coming directly from the bank, with evidencing a minimum of 37% balance. We need letter of credit from your overseas bank. So if you have a foreign account in London, UK, wherever you have it helps. You have money there, it's good to show it. So we just need letters from there. Letter of purpose. Why are you buying the property? And your net worth overseas. Do you have a mortgage here in Nigeria? Because some people do have mortgages. Do you have a mortgage? If you do, what's the debt? How much do you owe? Because they do want to factor that in. And pretty much down payment. So down payment is just 30%. So you do the math. Their houses, their investment properties for 100,000. Their investment properties for 50,000. There's investment property for 500,000. Do you have the 30% down? It's 30% down payment. There's another 5 to 7% on top for closing costs, which will include like taxes, insurance, attorneys, and things like that. But I have a particular lender that I work with, Mr. Kende Olorun Nishola. He is an expert. He's with A1 Home Mortgage Services and Investment. He helps all of my Nigerian clients out that want to buy homes out there, and he can get you sorted. So for 37% of whatever the value that you're trying to purchase, he can get it done. So we can get it done. I know this has been very fast. I only have 25 minutes, but I think that's the beauty of it. Follow me on Instagram. My name is, it's TOA Influential. That's my personal page. But follow Taiwo _ Georgia Realtor. Message me for anything that you want to know. My email address is taiwo.oniruakitokun@kw.com. My website is taiwo- Oniru Akitokun together .kw.com. Give me one moment. Yes, and and my phone number, my American phone number, my WhatsApp is +1 404 643 8321. Please just reach out to me. Anything that you want to know, I can share more with you. But the end story is you can invest in the American market without having ties to America. And it has never become more easy. Just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to assist. And thank you so much to Reach a Woman for this opportunity. I have so loved doing this today. I've enjoyed everyone that has spoke. Actually, I'm quite intrigued by like how everything has just ran. And honestly, I can't wait to do it again. So thank you. God bless you. And I hope you guys enjoyed my session.